Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. It is a 5 ways to wear it video, and that means that we're styling this tube top at least 5 different ways to make sure that I can justify bringing it into my closet. If you're new here, I'm Kim. I love fashion, travel, and the details of everyday life. If that's your thing, then I hope you'll consider subscribing so we can enjoy it together. Right, so I bought this tube top final sale off of the Outnet. It is Stella McCartney, it is wool, so it's a bit more of like a winter vibe than a summer vibe. And I think it's gonna be a little bit of a challenge, more so than some of the other things I've styled up, just because I think a tube top is by nature a little bit more limiting, but we will see. I've kind of taken out some pieces I think are gonna work, and we're gonna just have a play. The easiest way to wear it is obviously like I am currently wearing it. Jeans, tube top, a little bit of a belt. It is a cropped tube top, so it doesn't go down very far. So if you do wear lower rise jeans or mid-rise jeans, you're gonna have a bit of a gap. I almost always wear high-rise jeans, so not a huge problem for me, but the belt does kind of add a detail to the outfit and also help to hold the tube top in place. And then just my Stradberry and a little pair of black flats. And if I was in the fall when it's still warm enough to wear this during the daytime when the sun is out, then this would be a really great outfit, super cute, easy to pull off. However, as the weather gets warmer, and because this tube top is far more geared towards like winter, fall winter because of the wool material, then I think throwing on a blazer is probably a pretty good call here, just to give me an added layer of warmth. All of a sudden, I'm good to go. If I need to throw on another layer, I can throw on a coat over this and it becomes a very appropriate winter outfit. It's totally fine. As long as you're not in like a crazy cold place, then I think this is fine. It's definitely appropriate for fall. Most places it should be okay for winter as long as you're wearing a coat over it and you've got like the appropriate layers. But again, the fabric reads fall winter, so that's how I would do it in the fall and winter, you know? Let's try it with a slightly more cropped jacket to see how that feels. Mostly because I'm curious if this works. I really like this jacket, but sometimes I find it a little difficult to style with some things. And like, I'm not normally always wearing black. This is a little, I usually have some punch of color. But if you like monochrome, this is a pretty good look. All right, I just checked in the mirror and I think I actually like this a little bit more than the blazer. I think the cropped nature of it is quite cute, and then cuffing up the sleeves, it's a bit more me. The blazer is fine, but I think this is my personal style a little bit more. So I like this. This is more of like a linen cotton little crop jacket, so it's not one that I would necessarily do in winter, but especially for like mid-fall into the like early winter. Here, I live in Seattle, it doesn't get that cold. So I could wear this pretty comfortably in late September through early November and get away with it. But I think that if I need to wear something that's more winter, then the blazer becomes a better option. It just reads more seasonally appropriate and also probably is a little bit heavier. Also, this is a super basic look. If you wanted to punch it up a little bit, like if you were, like I have 2 seconds and I need to go out for the evening and it's a little bit dressier, may I recommend a little metallic moment. And all of a sudden you've got an outfit that's just a little bit more evening appropriate or a little bit more dressed up than the more predictable black. So that took me all of 30 seconds. Next option is layered over t-shirts. And I know it seems really simple, like they're the exact same t-shirt, they're just in different colors, but you'd be surprised how like black can read versus white can read, and what that says about like daytimes and styling and all that kind of thing. So I'm gonna try it over both of them and you're gonna see the difference that that creates. Okay, so I put the t-shirt on, then the tube top. This is great if you need to go to like an office or something, or if you just don't feel comfortable showing this much skin in an office. This is a way to wear your tube tops year round and be covered and office appropriate. I'm throwing it on with this blazer as well. I would recommend a bit more jewelry here to add some chunk and interest. and to break up the white, I don't feel like this is the best combo. Honestly, what I think would be better is a little bit lower contrast. And I'm usually a high contrast person. Like, I enjoy contrast, but this to me feels a little harsh. And so I think what I would prefer to do is swap it out for a lighter colored jean and potentially a different blazer. So it's up to you. I don't think it looks bad, but I think that if you wanted like an office outfit, this would be a good one. Again, play with like jean color and blazer color and find the contrast that works for you. I'm really putting these over here when I have a rail. But then, like, if you want to make it, sorry, I'm like not putting on my shoes entirely because who has time? But now, like, this is kind of fun, right? You got a bit of like a sportier casual look, can run around on the weekends. It's easy. But it reads really daytime, and it is quite high contrast, which I don't know, in some situations it works, in others it doesn't. It just kind of depends. So this is one way to get a little bit more longevity out of it. However, I think the black one will be interesting because it'll read a little bit differently. Brilliant. I forgot to film everything I just said about this outfit, so we'll do this again from the top. Okay, so this is clearly not that different from the white t-shirt, but I think that the low contrast nature of the outfit in general is very different. And you see how the shoes don't really go with it in the same way. Like, it kind of worked because the shoes, albeit very dirty white, tied in with the white t-shirt a little bit more. These do not. Now it's like they're just kind of floating out there. That's not my preference. I would prefer a black shoe in this situation. So I would go for my little black pumps. If you had a more like true black, like these are kind of a washed black jean, if you had more of like a black trouser that you were wearing where it was like a black like the t-shirt, then you could pair it with the heels and you would probably have an even more polished look. However, this is still casual, but it's polished casual, versus the other one was still polished casual, but I don't know, there's just something about the high contrast that just didn't feel quite right to me. This feels much better because it's a bit more harmonious. It's monochrome, and I think monochrome just feels more polished in general. And I'm not a monochrome only person. Like, I love contrast and color and all of those things. But in this situation, this feels better to me than the other one. And really the only difference is the t-shirt color. So I'd say monochrome in this circumstance gives it a more polished vibe. Okay, that was a very short version of what I had filmed before, hopefully. Let me show you what I wore to dinner the other night with this shirt. All right, well, when I went to edit, I realized that I never hit play or record, so I didn't actually film the last several outfits I had put together for you. So here we are, several days later, trying it again. So it goes. All right. This is the outfit that I initially wore out with this tube top. Sorry, this train sometimes is really annoying. All right, so I wore this to dinner 2 weekends ago, I think. We have my favorite frame pair of jeans. These are the Arrow. In case you're looking for good jeans, I've said it before, but Frame is one of my favorite brands. This top is from Topman, and I got it a couple of years ago for a birthday look I was putting together, and I quite like it. I like the mix of sheer and opaque. It is polyester, so it does wear a bit warm, but sometimes, you know, you just want the look, and you can only get it in what you can get it in. And then obviously this is the Stella McCartney crop top, or tube top. And then obviously the Chanel boy bag that I got for my birthday early. And I wore it with this Theory jacket to dinner as well. So it was a pretty cute look, I think. It was pushing me a little because I don't usually, when it feels quite dressy for Seattle, I don't really care about that so much because I'm on a one-woman mission to like make Seattle a more fashionable city. Less Patagonia, more dressed up. Like, I don't have a problem with Patagonia. I love Patagonia, North Face, all that athletic stuff, but like people wear that to the symphony and to the opera here, and it drives me nuts. It feels a little disrespectful. And so I'm on a mission to make Seattle a more fashionable city. But anywho, this was the outfit. I really liked it. I do really like it. And obviously you can swap out this like undershirt is a little bit more like nighttimey because of the black and the sheer and the pattern and stuff. But do the same thing under a like white button up and you have a very office appropriate outfit, similar to the t-shirts, but the button up shirt obviously gives it a bit more formality and polish, I would say. So this is a really great way to do it. I've seen this on Pinterest a lot, which is where I got the idea from. Like, I think what is important is to roll up your sleeves and open up the chest to give it some skin. Otherwise it's a very, I mean, it still looks fine, but I think if you want to give it a bit more of like a nighttime zhuzhed look, I like the black. If I had the white shirt, I think the popped collar would be quite nice as well. Maybe not with my haircut, but anyway. Yeah, so that's this look. I've got 2 more for you. I think of all of the looks I have shown you this far, this is the one that I am most likely to reach for or pull on, just because it feels the most to me. You know, if you watch my channel, you know I love a mini. I love this mini in particular. This is from Saison. And then obviously we've got the crop top, tube top, and then this jacket, which I showed you at the very beginning. I got this at Nordstrom, and it's pretty lightweight, so this is still very like early to mid fall, I think, but I would also be able to throw on a pair of tights, no problem. You could potentially layer like a t-shirt underneath as well if you needed a little extra, but I think this is a great one for early fall. It can take the top off so you can get that sun on your shoulders, but then when it cools off at night, you've got a layer. It's also very like office appropriate, I think. Like, again, depends on your office, but I would have no problem wearing this to an office in Seattle. I think most places you could get away with it, especially with a pair of tights. As long as you don't take your jacket off during a Zoom call, you'll be fine. So yeah, so I really like this. These are some Vince Camuto boots. The Stod bag, like I said, this is Halogen, Saison, Stella McCartney, you know the drill. But I really like this. This is very easy, very comfortable. Oh, and I like the detail on the belt. I just added this like braided belt, which I don't know, I just think it adds some nice detail. So not everybody wears a suit, but I think I love a suit, and this is one of my favorite suits. It's pretty much the only like suit I own, as in matching set. But this is a Saison suit I picked up a few years ago, and any excuse to wear it, honestly. I personally probably wouldn't wear it with a white t-shirt. Again, I just don't like this for some reason. I like it with black and I don't love it with white, but I think that's just a personal hang-up. I don't actually think it necessarily looks bad. I think it's a personal preference. And I also feel like I need more necklaces. Like, this look would be better if I had a bunch of necklaces piled on here, and I think lots of jewelry. It's a good look for mixing sort of that eclectic, sort of maximalist jewelry with what is effectively like a pretty, I don't want to say mainstream, but like just a much more traditional look, right? Like the suit. But anyway, you can definitely wear nicer shoes. I would personally keep this more casual with a sneaker. But if I wanted to dress it up more, I would go with those like white kitten heels that I have. But yeah, this I would wear. Like, I might choose to take the t-shirt off, but again, like, it depends on the situation and that I'm going to be in. Because again, like, you probably would wear this to something like the office, and if you're at the office, you might want to take the jacket off. And I just think it's a little much for me personally to go walking around an office, and especially being on Zoom calls where it's not clear that you're wearing a top. So that's the only reason to be conscious of wearing something underneath this tube top. But other than that, I think this is quite cute. You don't have to wear it with the suit jacket. This is what it looks like without the suit jacket. It's pretty casual. Like I said, I think what I might like better is like a pair of light wash jeans with this. I think that might actually look pretty reasonable. But yeah, you can definitely do this as like an underlayer in a full suit that you can wear to the office. You can cash it up, you can dress it up, whichever way you want to go. All right, I will show you it with like light colored jeans and we can decide if it looks better than with the black jeans that I was wearing earlier, because I think less contrast is what we need. Yeah, I think this just looks better than the black pair I had on earlier. I'll take a little, there you go. So I don't know, it's something about decreasing the contrast that I think works best. I think when it's really high contrast, I just don't like it as much, at least in this particular instance. I don't know why, because normally I really like high contrast. So not that there aren't not that it isn't high contrast, because obviously this is, but the overall look with the lighter wash jeans is a lower contrast than when I was wearing the black jeans, where the white really, really stood out. Here the white blends a little bit more into the overall look, and I prefer that in this instance. I mean, but if you watched the last video I did with the 2 different black dresses, I loved the high contrast look, so it just depends, I guess. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know in the comments which outfit you liked best and how you might style this tube top. I could always use more ideas. Consider subscribing, and if you want to watch some more content, there's plenty of videos to choose from. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!